We have a problem how we deal with the wastewater because we don't have sewage. Currently we only have this concrete tank that needs to be emptied every 2 months. So I changed it to a proper septic system with a drain field. And I can tell you it's a lot of work. Here in the village we do not have sewage. And many people here in the countryside are still using an outhouse. And we still have the old one in the back of our garden. Luckily, our house came with an inside toilet. And the previous owners of our house, they added a wastewater tank. But no drain field. For them, it was a holiday house, so the tank wouldn't fill up so fast. But for us, living here full time, it fills up quite fast. And emptying it cost quite a lot of money. We learned that the hard way. Not a pleasant way to do your business. Since emptying our tank is quite expensive and quite a hassle, I decided to modify it by adding a drain field. A drain field requires an extra settling chamber in the septic tank. 2 is better. And the second chamber needs to be about 20 to 25% of the volume of the first chamber. Our first chamber has 8 cubic meter in total volume, so I figured a 1.6 cubic meter secondary tank will be sufficient. Meet our latest family member, the secondary tank. And it actually has 3 compartments, so extra filtration. In the front we have the inlet and our second chamber, and then a third and a fourth compartment for extra settlement, and over here the outlet towards the drain field. The first step of this installation is to start digging. I've already made a beginning in an attempt to figure out the location for our new tank. We had some rain in the previous days, so I covered up the area with a tarp. So now we have the tank delivered, I can start digging a hole of the right size. It's day 2 of digging this hole. The first day I spent about 5 hours digging until I had enough of it. Because here I reached a layer of pretty solid clay, making it pretty hard to dig. But before I continue digging, I need to do something very important. The depth of this hole really relies on the height of the inlet of our existing tank, because the inlet of our new tank needs to be lower than the inlet of our other tank. So what I need to do now is estimate the location of the inlet pipe of our existing tank, so I can dig it up to measure the depth. There we go. Found it. Over there. The pipe. 35 centimeter. The top of the pipe with the top of the tank. So this means we need 35 centimeter plus the thickness of the pipe. 11 centimeter, 35 plus 11, 46. Let's add a little extra as a buffer, let's call it 50. And now we need to know the height of this point till the floor. So that's approximately 97 centimeter. Just to be safe, let's call it 100. 100 plus 50 is 150 centimeter. The depth that I need this hole to be. Let's see how far we are. It's 1 meter 3, 50 centimeters to go. Bummer. Let's get on with it then. Exhausting. The hole is done. Made myself a measurement stick, 1 meter 10. That's the exact width of the tank. So I can move it around the hole. Make sure it moves freely everywhere. The floor is at the right level, 1 meter 50 from the top of our old tank. I will need to put a little bit of sand to level it out nicely. And here on the other side I measured out the right level for the outlet of the new tank, which will be the beginning of the drain field. It's time to make an opening for the inlet of the new tank. It's around here. In order not to mess too much with this wall, I'm going to approach it gently by making cuts with the angle grinder. Earplugs, glasses, mask. Picked up a longer pipe to make the connection with the new and the old tank, because I want this pipe to stick out underneath the opening of the old tank, so I can add a T element for inspection purposes. In case somehow it gets clogged, I can much easier from above the opening add the hose into it and clean it out. We got a fresh delivery of sand. I'm going to grab the wheelbarrow, shovel a cup full and dish them into the hole, because I need to level out the bottom. Later this afternoon, hopefully we can lower down the tank into the hole.
Mă bas pe internet, am.
Da, asta acolo.
Servus.
Bagă-l, împinge-l un pic. Hai să mă încet.
Da?
It's the next day here at the septic tank installation, and now it's time to start backfilling the hole. I will start by filling up with sand around the sides, which I will try to squeeze between the wall and the tank, so it gets to go all the way underneath. And then I will water it down with a hose in order for the sand to settle nicely. And while I'm doing that, I will also fill up the tank halfway, so the pressure will be even. I think first I will put on the lids with their pipes to prevent any sand of falling into the compartments. These are the lids. The pipe fits tightly in it, and the pipe has another lid at the top, which will stick out above the ground. Okay, making progress. Got the hose in the pipes just to fill it up, and the sand approximately halfway. With this stick I'm compacting it. That's another 8 wheelbarrow loads of sand. I compacted it with the stick again. This time I added a little T at the end to have a large compacting surface. I almost covered the entire tank except the outlet, because from here the drainfield will start. So I'm going to leave it as is for now, and it's time to start digging the trench. Gravel arrived. That's for the drain field. 6 hours of digging later, and we have a trench. And that is the depth that I need, and that is still about 20 centimeter to 30 centimeter taller than it needs to be, but I reached the layer of hard dry clay and I just couldn't do any deeper for the moment. Initially I wanted to make the shortcut and just go straight there, but then I would be left with maybe less than 4 meters. I figured doing the little extra effort would be worth it, so now I ended up with approximately 8 meters of drain length. I am absolutely smashed, and it's back to digging. We've had a little bit of rain, so I hope that the clay here at the bottom has gotten more moist, so it's going to be easier to dig. It seems to go a little bit better. And I am done digging the trench. It's another day to work on the septic tank. Today I want to lay down the drain pipe into the trench. First I'll need to install the outlet of the tank. This is the pipe I want to attach to the outlet to create a little bit of distance before the actual drain pipe begins, so the earth around the tank will not suffer from any erosion from the drain field. Start with some sand to stabilize the pipe. Looks like you did a decent job keeping the sand out of the tank. Oop. And in goes the new one. Now I get the gravel in here. I need to make a straight level with the starting point, the outlet pipe. Because on top of this I have to put a drain pipe that needs to have a slight drop in it, so the water flows in one direction only. To make it level, I don't want to go to the bottom of the trench with my level, so I can compact it and check if I'm level at the same time. Next step, adding the pipe into the trench, somehow securing it in place while I'm adding the gravel. Made it to the end of the line here. It was significantly easier than expected. Here at the end I'm adding a termination with an inspection hatch. This adapter piece goes into a 90 degree, and from here 1 meter pipe goes up, sticking out from above the ground. Okey-dokey. Finally, we get to the last day of working on our septic system. I'll be filling in the trench with earth. I'll probably add a little bit more sand on top of the tank itself before I add here also a layer of earth. And finally, these chunks of grass I will try to lay back on the surface, and maybe the grass grows back faster. And with that, the work that I spread out over nearly 3 weeks is coming to an end. With the first layer in, that's been really quick by the way, it's time to compact it a little bit. I've got 2 compactors right at the bottom of my legs. I put a little bit of sand to fill up the gaps between the grass. And finally it's time for the last step, filling up the rest of the hole with earth. And it's done. Very nice. I only remain with quite a pile of dirt. 2 little piles. Not sure what to do with those, but I guess I'll figure that out sometime.
What's taking so long? What are you doing?
Testing a new septic system.